My name's Wade, 22 years behind the wheel, and I want to tell you about the one night I stopped talking to myself out loud in that cab, because something answered back. It was a September run, hauling refrigerated freight from Amarillo up through the Panhandle, a route I'd driven so many times I could do it with my eyes shut. Empty highway. No moon, just my headlights carving a tunnel through a black so total, it felt like the world outside that tunnel simply didn't exist anymore. Somewhere past mile marker 210, the fog rolled in. Not creeping, it just arrived, all at once, like someone had thrown a switch. Thick, gray, swallowing the road 20 feet ahead of my grill. I eased off the pedal. Every trucker knows fog like that isn't a weather event. It's a warning. That's when I saw her. A woman, standing dead center on the yellow line, facing away from me, in a pale dress that didn't move, even though a fog that heavy should have dragged at the fabric like a current. I hit the brakes so hard my trailer fishtailed. 60,000 pounds of steel screamed against asphalt, and I braced for an impact that never came, because when I stopped, 10 feet from where she'd been standing, there was nothing there. No woman, no footprints, no blood, thank God, but also no explanation. I sat there with my hands locked on the wheel, engine idling, heart trying to punch through my ribs, and then the CB radio crackled to life. Nobody had called in. The channel had been dead silent for 40 miles. A voice came through, soft, almost gentle, and it said my name. Not Breaker Breaker, not a handle. My actual first name, the one printed on my logbook, the one only my dispatcher and my wife ever used. Wade, it said. You should keep driving. And then static, and nothing else, for the rest of the night. I want to be honest with you. I almost did keep driving. I almost just gunned it and got out of there. But something made me look in my side mirror first. And in that mirror, in the fog behind my trailer, I saw her again, closer now, standing right at my back bumper, this time facing my truck, facing me. And for just a second, 1 second, I swear on my logbook, the fog around her seemed to bend inward, like it was being pulled into her, like she was breathing it in. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I dropped that truck into gear and drove 45 miles over the limit until the fog broke and the sun started bruising the edge of the sky. I called my dispatcher when I got to the next way station and told him I needed a route change. He laughed at first. Then he got quiet and told me I wasn't the first driver to radio in about mile marker 214. He said 3 other drivers over the past 2 years had reported the exact same thing. A woman in a pale dress, a voice on a dead channel that knew their name. 2 of those drivers, he said, quit trucking within the month. One of them wouldn't say why. He just said some roads remember you, even when you've never stopped on them before. I still drive. I still take that route sometimes, because the freight has to move and the bills don't pay themselves. But I don't drive it at night anymore. Not ever again. And if you're ever hauling through the Panhandle after dark and the fog rolls in too fast, too even, too complete, do yourself a favor. Don't stop. Don't look in the mirror. And whatever you do, if something says your name on a channel that's supposed to be dead, don't answer it back. That's my story, but it's not the worst one you'll hear tonight. Like this video if it kept you on the edge of your seat. Drop a comment with your own worst overnight route, and subscribe, because story number 2 is coming up right after this. And trust me, you don't want to miss it.
My name's Marcus, 6 years driving a taxi on the night shift, and out of everything you're about to hear, this is the one I still won't drive past without locking every door in the car first. In this line of work, you learn to trust your gut before your dispatcher. That instinct is the only reason I almost didn't stop that night. But it was late, the streets were empty, rent was due, and a fare's a fare. 2 men flagged me down outside a shuttered gas station on the edge of town, right where the streetlights gave out, and the road turned to old cracked pavement swallowed by tree shadows. They didn't say much, just climbed into the back seat, gave me an address out past the old railway crossing, and sat in a silence so complete I could hear my own heartbeat over the engine. The drive felt wrong from the very first mile. Not because either man said anything threatening. They didn't say anything at all. It was the quiet, a heavy, pressing quiet, like the back seat had swallowed every sound that should have been there. No breathing, no shifting in the seats, no creak of the vinyl. I kept glancing in my rearview mirror, and every single time, both men were sitting bolt upright, staring straight ahead, eyes fixed somewhere past the windshield, like they were watching something on the road that wasn't there. The address they gave me sat at the dead end of an unlit residential street, the kind with only 3 working street lamps and a dozen dark houses. As I pulled up near the address, something in me just wanted the ride to be over. I called out the fare, told them the total, and reached down to grab a pen from my cup holder to write the receipt. It only took me 3 seconds, maybe 4. When I looked back up into the mirror to tell them the total again, the back seat was empty. Not they'd gotten out quietly. Empty. I actually laughed at first, thinking it was some kind of prank, some friends hiding a camera somewhere. I turned around fully in my seat to look with my own eyes, not just the mirror. Nothing. No 2 men. No open door. No footsteps fading into the dark. And here's the part that still keeps me up some nights. Every single door in that taxi was locked. I always keep the child locks engaged on the rear doors out of habit, meaning those doors could only be opened from the outside, by me, with my key fob. I hadn't touched it once during the entire ride. I sat there in the driver's seat for a long moment, just staring at my own reflection in the rearview mirror, telling myself there had to be some simple explanation my mind just hadn't found yet. Then, in the silence, I heard it. A single, slow exhale from directly behind my headrest, not from outside the car, from inside it, right behind my neck, close enough that I swore I felt warm breath stir the hair at my collar. I didn't turn around this time. I didn't check the mirror. I grabbed my keys, shoved my door open, and ran. I left the taxi running, driver's door hanging wide open, hazard lights blinking uselessly into that empty dead-end street, and I ran the entire 1.5 miles back toward the main road, screaming for anyone, anything, to just be there. A patrol car eventually found me sitting on a curb, shaking, unable to explain to the officer why my cab was still idling 3 blocks away, with all 4 doors locked from the inside. To this day, I won't take a fare out past that railway crossing after dark. I still don't know what got into my back seat that night, or what let itself back out of a locked car without ever opening a door. I just know that whatever it wasn't in a hurry to leave. It waited until I was close enough to hear it breathe. That's story number 2. If that one got under your skin, like the video, and drop a comment telling us if you'd have kept driving or pulled over to pick up both men at that time of the night. And subscribe, because story number 3 is coming up right now.
My name's Roy, 19 years hauling lumber through the Appalachians, and I want to tell you about the night I counted 4 sets of headlights behind me on a road built for 1 truck at a time. I was running a late load down Route 250, cutting through the mountains after a job ran long. Should have stopped in Elkins for the night. I didn't. Bad call, looking back. The road up there twists so tight your own headlights can't see around the next bend. And past a certain hour, you're the only living thing on it. Or you're supposed to be. Around mile 9, I checked my mirror out of habit, the way you do every few minutes on a mountain grade. And there were headlights behind me. Far back, but there. That wasn't unusual by itself. Until I realized how far back they were, and how they never got closer, and never fell away either. They just held there, exact same distance, mile after mile, like something was pacing me instead of following me. Then I saw a second set, then a third. By the time I hit the switchbacks near the ridge, I had 4 pairs of headlights strung out behind me in my mirror, perfectly spaced, like a funeral procession climbing the mountain in the dark. I grabbed my CB and called it in, asked if anyone on the channel could see a convoy behind a lumber hauler on 250. Silence. Then somebody came back and said there was nobody else scheduled on that road that night. Nobody. I told myself it was drivers running dark for some reason, or my eyes playing tricks on switchback curves. I told myself a lot of things. Then I came around a blind curve, and my own headlights swept across an old runaway truck ramp cut into the hillside, one of those gravel escape lanes for trucks that lose their brakes on the grade, and parked at the top of it, nose down toward the road, like they'd rolled up from below, were four dark shapes, trucks, old ones, cab styles I hadn't seen since I was a kid, riding shotgun with my uncle. No headlights on, no engines running, just sitting there, facing my lane, like they were watching me pass. The second I cleared that curve, I checked my mirror again. The four headlights behind me were gone, not distant, gone, like a switch had been thrown. And in their place, for one single heartbeat, I saw four dark shapes in my mirror instead, the same shapes from the ramp, somehow now behind me on the road, closing distance fast. My hands went cold on the wheel. I did the only thing that made sense at 2 in the morning on a mountain with nowhere to pull off. I put my foot down, and I didn't lift it until I saw the lights of Elkins glowing through the trees. When I finally stopped at a diner and told an old-timer trucker what I'd seen, he didn't laugh at me. He got real still and told me that stretch of 250 had a name among drivers who'd been running it since before I was born. They called it the waiting grade, said there'd been a wreck up there decades back, a convoy of lumber trucks that lost their brakes together on that exact hill, one after another, in the dark, with nobody around to help. He said drivers still see them sometimes, following, waiting for one more truck to join the line. I still haul lumber. I still take contracts through West Virginia. But I don't run Route 250 after dark anymore. Not for any amount of money. And if you're ever climbing a mountain grade at 2 in the morning and you count more headlights behind you than there should be trucks on that road, don't slow down to figure out why. Just keep climbing and don't look at the ramp when you pass it.